Okay, so thanks Mate for joining us for the Next Fest stream. Obviously you know my name, Mate, but for people watching, my name's Dan. I'm the Product Marketing Manager at Slug Disco. We're the publisher for Green Again, and joining us on the stream is Mate, the developer of Green Again. So I don't know, Mate, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us what Green Again is?
Sure. So, hey, I'm Mate. I'm the main designer and programmer of Green Again. Currently, I'm collaborating with an artist, Penzilla, who's drawing all the graphics and nice visuals for the game, and also with Toby Weiss, who is the composer for the game, and he's writing some real nice melodies for it. So yeah, I've been working on Green Again for quite a few years now. I think the first concept of the game was like put together as a prototype in 2021 or around that time, and it's a passion project of mine. So yeah, I've been spending most of my free time tinkering with this little city builder game, and I hope to introduce it to as many players as I can, and I hope people are going to enjoy playing it.
Well, the feedback's been very positive. We demoed it at WASD in London. We got to see some on-hand player feedback, and it was hard to tear people away from the demo. And it's been much improved since then as well for Next Fest. So yeah, do you want to? Which build are you actually showing, Mate? Is this what will be the Next Fest build that you're playing through?
Yes, this build has quite a few new features. For example, a lighting system, so you can build little lamps to decorate your settlements, and also all the houses are creating little light circles when it's night. And this whole, I can call it a day-night cycle, but it's actually like a year-long cycle of light. Like the sun does a full rotation around this planet where the game is set, and you can see how the lighting changes over time. So I think that's neat, and that's one of the new things.
Yeah, it's kind of like think of it as a very northern, Nordic country. So in winter it's very dark, all winter, and then in summer it's long days. So
yeah,
basically
a longer period of day and then shorter period of night. Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to just jump into a new game and kind of
Sure.
Let's show players what Green Again is?
Yeah, let's do a little preview. So yeah. Currently in the demo, you can select from two different zones, two different biomes. I'm playing currently the town zone. This is the beginner-friendly zone, I would say, with the least amount of challenges, and I think it's easier to start with this when you play Green Again for the first time. So yeah. The first steps of the game are always building a few wells, because you must ensure some water supply for your little plant people called sproutlings. They are basically the protagonists of the game.
Do you want to zoom in and maybe show off a little?
Sure.
Yeah, so there they are, walking around.
Yeah, you can see the little fellas doing some work, carrying stuff into the central colony building, and now we already have some water, so probably a good idea to place some farms. Farming is like a central part of the game. You have several crops to choose from, and each crop grows in under different weather conditions in different seasons. So for a starter, I think carrots or leeks are ideal. Carrots, for example, grow in spring, and they also grow in autumn. So I think we'll start with that. And you can just place farms on these terraformed green tiles, which are filled with grass currently. So the little sproutlings go there and start building the farms. And once they are built, they also cultivate the fields. So
Yeah, so the farming, like you said, it's quite integral. So you've got it, the crop that's yielded, it produces food which you need to keep your sproutlings happy.
Yeah.
But then you also like sort of sell off the profit for gold, for coins, sorry.
Yes.
That you use for future upgrades, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so food is essential because like starving sproutlings are obviously becoming unhappy, and eventually they start leaving your colony. So you have quite the leeway to fix things. It's I wouldn't say it's a very cruel survival type of game. You can make errors. It's okay, but of course eventually you must provide your little citizens with enough food and like all the facilities they require.
Yeah.
And also, if they are happier, that means they are working faster. So it's anyway a good idea to keep this happiness meter in the green, or like as high as you can. Yeah. Also, while I'm playing, I'm changing the game speed regularly. I think it's like fairly common for all city builder type of games. So whenever there's a bit of downtime waiting for something to be built, it's maybe a good idea to bump up the speed a bit. I'm also placing a few huts here, like tiny houses for the sprouting workers. This means more sproutlings will move in. Here we can see a housing counter, which indicates how many sproutlings can live in our colony at the current moment. And this little green arrow is that means the population is growing. The current citizens are feeling happy, so new sproutlings are moving in, and they eventually reach the head count, the housing limits of 32. Yeah.
Looking at the game, it's obviously on a hex grid.
Yes.
Do the hexes play into the actual gameplay at all, like like tile neighbors and stuff?
Yeah, actually, yes, they do. I mean, most of the stuff you can build. For example, all the housing, the farms, and also decorations which you can place down. They give you like bonuses. They give the fields give a better yield. The houses give more housing if you put them together. So you should place your farms to create these contiguous areas of the same crop, and it's probably also a good idea to place the houses next to each other. And also between decorations and houses there's a sort of synergy, so whenever you place decorations near houses, that also boosts the housing value given by that certain house, because of course it becomes like more appealing for the sproutlings to move into those houses which have nice surroundings.
Yeah. Speaking of them, then some peonies popped up. So you just unlock new decorations kind of as you play, don't you?
Yes, exactly. It's a sort of exploration mechanic in the game. So you have a smaller roster of these decoration items. I can, for example, plant some tulips here. But over time, as you explore the map, you would find these little bags containing a random decoration. So it might happen that over the course of one playthrough, like finishing one map, doesn't even allow you to explore all the decorations, so that there might be a few surprises if you return to the game and play a map again.
Yeah, because each map, so this is the town zone, but it's procedural, right? It's not the same zone every time you play.
Yes, that's right. All the maps are procedural, and it's going to be like that in the future too. So yeah, all of them have like general generation rules, how they are shaped, what kind of landmarks or challenges are created for them. And also there's like a set of goals for each zone. For example, here in the town zone, you must reach a target population. You must ensure the happiness of sproutlings by placing decorations. And there are also these ancient buildings which play a bit of a role in the story. They are ancient old technology buildings which the sproutlings must reclaim to gain more knowledge and access those technologies which are long forgotten. So while the game is basically about these little sproutlings reclaiming their planet and fighting robots which are controlled by a malfunctioning AI which was programmed originally to terraform the planet, but completely misunderstood the assignment and instead turned most of the planet into a desolate wasteland or like huge factory zones. But luckily some of these little plant guys survived the whole cataclysm, and now they are trying to restore this planet. And while most technology isn't considered good or accepted anymore because it belongs to the robots and it belongs to the AI, there are still some old technology buildings which are usually marked with a blue or bluish color in the artwork, and that means you can still use them to your advantage and to progress in the game. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. That's just raised two questions that I think people might have. So, the first one is you mentioned battling robots, which sounds quite exciting, but we market the game and all the store page is described as like a chill, cozy city builder.
Yeah.
So, combat isn't like a central mechanic, and it's not massively involved. It's just there to kind of prod the player with a bit of an antagonist, isn't it? Just to keep stuff interesting.
Definitely, and of course, more challenges, more kinds of robots are definitely planned. Even for the demo, I think there will be some more challenges added. But I tried to make it less like an actual RTS game. This is not an RTS, like not in the way of being a combat or like a military simulation game. You can't train soldiers in barracks. You don't have catapults, don't have cannons or guns, but still the robots are actively, like, they can hurt the sproutlings, but luckily when they are hurt they just turn into little flying seeds called soul seeds, and they return to this soul garden building here and are eventually revived. So how it still poses a challenge for the player, an injured sproutling is of course taking time to recuperate and fully heal in the soul garden. So if you are playing well, you should avoid all your sproutlings being hurt and removed from the production line, because then you can't, basically without them you can't do anything. You can't farm, you can't build. As you see, there's you are also, or always, only issuing the commands or telling the sproutlings what you'd like to do, but they are the actual people, the actual workers who are performing all the hard work.
Yeah. And the second kind of follow-up question I had, then you mentioned story and overarching plot. That's not really present in the demo. In terms of there's the world building stuff is, but there's no massive there's no text or entry logs or anything like that.
No.
For the full release, do you plan to how do you plan for the story to actually be presented? Is it going to be kind of just logs and bits of text you find in the world, or will there be cutscenes and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I'm not imagining tons of cutscenes. I think at least some intro sequence, or maybe an intro and outro sequence, because by terraforming all these various zones, there would be an end to a certain campaign. There would be a full playthrough, which means I think I can like quickly switch to that screen for a moment. So here's this world map screen where the planet can be seen. And yeah, currently it's divided into 4 different areas, and 2 of them are playable currently. But I'm planning in the full release to have like several more regions here, maybe 10 or 12 for a full playthrough, and all of them would be individual maps with individual goals. Some, procedurally generated content. Maybe the goals would be randomized a bit, and also it is planned to have some overarching progression, like you could unlock some useful items in one of the zones, and then you could just grab that progress, for example, new items, or maybe boons for your sproutlings or your buildings, or like new kinds of crops unlocked, and you could just use them in all the other maps. So I think that could be explored further, and eventually you would just like restore the whole planet, and in this world map it's going to be visible. It is already visible in the demo. Once you finish a map and you return to this to the planet view, you can see that certain zone becoming green, and trees start growing there, and it's restored to a healthy like natural state as it was before.
Okay. We've mentioned that between the kind of like the build that's been up on Steam and then this new Next Fest build,
Yes.
and then we had the WASD build, so it's been under sort of active development for a while, and the demo is constantly being updated.
Yes.
And it will be around after Next Fest ends as well. But I was just wondering if you've got a sort of a favourite addition that you've added to the game recently. Is there like something you've tweaked in the last like few months that you thought, actually, I can't believe the game didn't have this kind of originally?
Okay, so one of the recent changes, I think this new kind of lighting and power system is interesting, and also like there's been several changes made to how the whole economy of the game works. For example, the housing system, or like worker efficiency, which is currently marked as a percentage value here. These were much simpler before, like much more rudimentary, I guess, and I think it's starting to come together a bit and create a sort of emergent simulation in the game. So I think that's neat. I would say about the whole the whole idea of green again is it's more of like the sum of its parts, so I didn't want to make like a super hardcore, extremely complex simulation game, because those are awesome. I love some of those, but I think for Green Again I wanted to more like aim for the happy part of building little cities, making these little plant creatures happy and content with their lives, and helping them, and just restoring the planet. I think those would be the main the main ideas behind the game. And while I wanted to introduce some simulation mechanics to it shouldn't be just a toy where you just place houses and everything looks nice, but I don't want to be I don't want Green Again to be like an extremely complex simulation software.
And we mentioned, obviously we've not shown any of the tutorial here, but one of the big Next Fest updates has been just kind of reintroducing redoing the onboarding for the game. So there's lots of like a tutorial overhaul. But I was just wondering if you had a top tip for new players. Is there kind of one thing that if a player knew straight from the get-go, they might have an easier time?
Well, once you build a marketplace, you can sell these crystals. Try not to sell all of them because they will be useful for unlocking crops and like stuff on the tech tree. You can occasionally see me clicking on the tech tree here, but we are still like in year 1, so we are ramping up a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, crystals are important, but they are also a good source of coins at the beginning of the game. But currently you have like a finite amount of crystals on a given map. You can build a caravan post eventually, which like constantly produces a small influx of these crystals, but that's really just like a backup solution. So
Yeah.
you should keep an eye on actually gathering them. And yeah, that's also a crucial part of the game. So besides finding decorations, there's all sorts of goodies like gatherable resources and items spread over the map. So, for example, these junk pieces, they give you materials for construction. These red weeds, they can be processed for coins and materials. Basically, all these orange or reddish orange plants are like harmful vegetation. They are the twisted version of real plants, which are green, of course. So you are free to collect these and turn them into resources, which you can then use for your settlement.
And I can see on some of those huts that you've now captured have a little green flag
yes.
next to them. Does that mean anything?
Yeah, it does actually. So these are like all neutral buildings. These are the old tech buildings, which I mentioned mostly, and they are capturable buildings. When you left click them, you can also see in this inspector window, and that basically means whenever they fall into the radius of an outpost. And yeah, outposts are also like a core part of the gameplay, but we haven't like mentioned them, not yet.
Yeah.
So whenever you like expand your area and capturable building falls in the radius of an outpost, one of the sprouting workers just goes there and like plants this little green flag, and from there it gives you a kind of boon, extra resources or something else. Yeah, for example, a recycler generates materials every day. If you hover over the materials, you can see that, for example, now 22.50 materials are generated per day, but
Okay.
yeah, they're like generated over a couple of seconds. Or there are pumping stations which provide extra water, and these little huts are nomad houses, and that means you basically get workers for free, and also they give extra housing for those workers. Oh, and yeah, here we have like a nanobug infestation. These little red insects are also the tools of the AI, and they are destroying the crops. I see if we can. Okay, we can't afford this yet, but maybe. Okay, I wasn't fast enough. But
It's hard when you're playing
yeah,
and talking. It's hard to be efficient.
yeah, I'm dividing my attention quite a bit now. But yeah, actually, you would have to build a technician's cottage for this, and then the workers would be able to clear these nanobugs. They don't appear right at the start of the game to, give the player a bit of time to prepare, and I'm not throwing everything at the same time at the player. Later, I'm planning more of these challenge events, for example, disasters or like extreme weather conditions to be added to the game. Currently, we only have, like regular clear weather and the snowfall in winter.
Yeah.
And yeah, also in winter, like in the dark, freezing season, all the crops are destroyed. Well, at least they are destroyed unless you build one of the upgrades, the weather control, which basically protects your crops from the frost and ensures that they survive.
Okay, and then you mentioned the outposts, and that you hadn't really spoken about them, but we've been seeing you place them down. Do you want to just talk about the outposts?
Sure. So yeah, the basic loop of the game, I would say, is of course, as we started, first you must provide water for the sproutlings, and like water is always limited. It's marked by these little water droplets on the map, and it encourages the player to expand to these areas to like get more water sources. But for expansion, you need these little round outpost buildings. And for the outposts, besides spending quite a bit of coins on them and a bit of materials as well, you can see in the tooltip that you also need a certain population count, which of course it's higher. It's growing for all the subsequent outposts. They require higher and higher population. So it's always a loop of getting water, planting some crops to feed the people and make money from selling it, and then building houses to make more people move into your settlement. And once you reach the population requirement of an outpost, it's best to like expand further, place another outpost, and just claim more area in the map. And also at the same time you are terraforming and restoring the terrain as well. So when you place an outpost, all of the ground becomes green around it.
So you can see you mentioned the goal of the town zones to capture those ancient buildings. So
yes,
you basically have to create a trail of outposts over to one of those buildings that you can see when you zoom out.
Basically, yes. I think I should start working on that soon. I'm setting up a basic economy here, but yeah, we are not exactly speed running this. So
we've got to leave something for the. Don't want to spoil too much what happens when you get close to your first building.
Oh yeah.
Is there? I know you've prepared some. There's some stuff like within Unity that you wanted to like show, kind of on the engine side of things. Mm-hmm. But is there anything else in the game you kind of want to cover, or like show players?
Yeah, basically, maybe I could just build a few more decorations here and there, and then we can switch over to Unity and maybe look under the hood a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
To see something there as well. I'm just waiting for these crops to be harvested. At least our food is in a better shape now. We have a bit of a stockpile, and I think at the end of summer it should be fine. Like, I'm hoping to harvest all these corns. Maybe.
I've made the big money.
Yeah. Oh no. I missed it.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Oh, so what happened there then? Is that just because there was too many tasks for the workers? You didn't have enough workers compared to how much you asked them to do, so the
as you can see, my efficiency is not the best, to say the least. So yeah, it's about 60%. That means like lots of tasks are being ordered or like set for the workers, but they can't perform everything on time. So yeah, ideally you would have even like a bit of some extra workers who can be put on urgent tasks. And currently it's like all managed by the game. I'm considering to maybe add some sort of manual prioritization of these tasks, but I think it's a sort of micromanagement which some players are interested in, but not all of them. So I'm trying to make the system work without explicitly telling all the sproutlings where to go and what to do, and basically just leaving most of it to to the preset priorities and game logic. Yeah, there's occasional autosaves, which can be turned off, by the way, if someone's bothered by it and
Yeah.
prefers to avoid it. So yeah, I'm placing some lamp decorations here, and soon. Also, I think I can sell some crystals. Yes. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, it's already looking a bit nicer. Maybe let's just plant some trees.
And like you said, these decorations, they're not just like cosmetic. There are some benefits to it, such as like raising the happiness of the sproutlings.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, when I'm placing those, there's this little smiley face being shown. So it's an actual increase of the happiness value. And basically, you have like a pool of happiness, like a certain amount your decorations generate, and also happiness is influenced by the amount of food. So as you can see, because I don't have like tons of food, the food happiness could be higher. It's just 35% for now, and it can be 50%. Like half of the happiness can come from the food stockpile, and the other half can be created by decorations. Oh, yeah, and we can see now the sproutlings working hard to remove all the bugs, the infestation from the fields, and hopefully they manage to save like most of the plants. It's a bit of a crowd here.
And that was because you unlocked the technician cottage. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And all of the upgrades, like most of them, I'm always trying to make them meaningful. So it's not like just, I don't know, +1 and like a 2.5% increase to some arbitrary value. They usually unlock some new feature for the player, some new method of approaching problems, or some new play like gameplay element. I'm always trying to make those meaningful. But yeah, now that we have this little winter settlement, I think we can jump over to the editor maybe.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a like a tech demo or showing how things are working in the background. I think one of the fun parts to look at is how the map is being rendered. So I'm just trying to find we can use our latest save, I think, without issues, or maybe this one.
So while that's loading, what do you think's been the most challenging part of making Green Again so far? Is it like tech stuff? Is it just because you are a very small team? Like you said, it's mainly you designing and programming, and then you've got an artist and music. But or is it something else that we've not considered?
Yeah, well, it's definitely challenging to like juggle all the tasks all the time. The usual stuff everyone's saying is you have to wear many hats, and while of course the publishing is at least handled by you, but all the other stuff, the design and coding and basically providing the collaborators with tasks and discussing with them in what direction music or like graphics should go. That's challenging, but I think managing the code base or like keeping this together is also, well, it's not too easy. Yeah, it always has some challenges. Yeah, so what I wanted to show, it's actually a different map. You can see some of the power generating buildings here, some solar panels and a battery. But I wanted to show how the whole map rendering looks when it's shown in the editor. So actually this whole isometric tilted kind of view which we are using for the game is basically created by the camera being rotated by 40 degrees on the x-axis, so horizontally, and the map is like pointing straight upwards, but the camera is tilted, and to compensate for that and to avoid all the buildings and the sproutlings being squished in the game, basically they are also rotated the other way. So like looking here, you can see it's like little cardboard cutouts on top of a perfectly flat map. And I can even like break it a bit further and like remove the camera rotation. And for a little while the game was like this, of course not the squished buildings, but the map itself, it wasn't isometric, it was basically flat top down, like fully symmetrical hexagons pointing towards the camera. But I just realized that I think this kind of isometric looks gives a bit more depth and like impression of of an actual like spatial physical map. I think it's even with the cartoony graphics, it helps a bit to ramp up the visuals. So when I rotate it back, everything is back to normal. Okay, some of the sproutlings aren't, because this little guy here is squished, but most of them are fine. And one of the other things which I'm planning to turn into a feature eventually, or build a feature on it, is I can turn on sort of debug view for the sproutling workers, and all these labels are showing the jobs, the tasks they are performing. Well, it's now in the realm of geekiness, but maybe some players are familiar with state machines, finite state machines. Lots of strategy games, lots of these city builders are using that for simulating citizens, workers, peasants, whatever they are called in the actual game. And here I am using the same. So all the sproutlings have a certain state. He's going to an idle animation, and then he's going home. So they have all these various states, and I'm planning to make the workers like selectable in game by the players, which is currently it's not yet in the game. And they would get unique names. Maybe there would be some customization options even, and also the game would show for each of the workers much more player friendly name of these tasks. So it would say with a little inspector test that okay, Sproutling 27 is going to a farm, or like this Sproutling is just idling here and having a good time. He's sweeping the ground. Something like that.
We mentioned just before we jumped on the call, started recording, about how this could like tie in quite nicely to something like Twitch integration. So you could rename each Sproutling, could end up having the name of someone from a Twitch chat, or something like that.
Definitely.
Sorry, and you mentioned customization as well. Obviously, a lot of the Sproutlings, they're very similar, and they're not really wearing much clothing. Would that just be in the case of like different hats and like little bits of accessories, as opposed to like completely customizing what each Sproutling looks like?
I don't think I'll be able to add like a full set of clothing for each of them, but hats are definitely planned. Like both as seasonal events. Even in one of the earliest demos I uploaded to Steam, that was last December, so around Christmas, and there they had these little Santa hats, little festive hats for for the celebration. So I'm definitely planning to add some of those, and of course not all of them would be time bound. Not all of them would be seasonal customizations only, but I would definitely allow the players to maybe set a fixed clothing style for their Sproutlings, or like maybe a pool which they are choosing from whenever they emerge from one of the houses. And of course, they could be season related. So that's my other idea, that they would be wearing straw hats in the summer. They would be wearing like caps or a scarf in winter, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And of course, the environments are also like I'm planning to include much more, extreme weather conditions, maybe an arid, hot, fiery zone, or some zone which is frozen most of the time, or some swamp area. So for each of those, of course, the sproutlings could wear some sort of clothing which makes sense in that biome, I guess.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to show off, or do you think we're done?
I think we're done. I think we showcased a bit from the gameplay and talked about how Green Again works,
Yeah.
and also seen some of the like development steps which are still in progress. So yeah, definitely. I only want to recommend to anyone who's interested to try the demo. It's always available on Steam, not only on NextFest, but I'm not planning to remove it at all until the full release. So you can always play Green Again and see how development goes.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So be sure to wishlist it if you're on the page watching this. If you're watching it on YouTube, then the link will be below. Yeah, and just check out the demo. As Mate said, it'll be constantly kind of evolving as we go along. And you can follow along with the development through the sort of like Steam community posts or Twitter, Discord, and the links for those are kind of around. You could find them. But yeah, thanks for watching everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.